Okay, let's unpack this. We're all seeing it, right?
Hmm.
The headlines, the social media posts, just the general buzz around AI and, well, the future of work.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk. And maybe some worry, too?
Definitely some worry. It's a big topic for so many people right now.
For sure.
So that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're tackling that big question. What does the future of work look like in this age of AI?
But focusing on the practical stuff.
Exactly. What can you actually do? How do you navigate this, adapt, maybe even, thrive?
And we've got some really specific insights to work with today. Our main source is a transcript from a YouTube video. It's by Dan Koh.
Right.
And he talks about becoming AI first. It's got some, well, pretty concrete advice in there, not just theory.
Yeah, practical steps. So our mission really is to just cut through all the noise on this, pull out the key takeaways from Dan's perspective, sort of a shortcut maybe to help you figure out the challenges, the opportunities, and crucially, how to start getting ready, like now.
Sounds good. Where does he start?
Well, he kicks off with what he calls the unpleasant truth. Doesn't really sugarcoat it.
Okay.
He points to things like a post from David Patterson suggesting future AI could be smarter than like 99% of humans pretty soon.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk apparently agreed with that timeline.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he brings up points from, I think it was the CEO of Fiverr.
Ah, right. I remember seeing something about that.
The message was pretty stark.
Yeah.
AI is coming for every job. Eventually.
Every single one. That's bold.
Well, the idea is easy tasks just vanish. Hard tasks, AI makes them easy. And the impossible stuff, well, that just becomes hard.
Okay, I see the pattern. And he mentioned companies actually doing this.
Yeah, like Shopify, Duolingo,
Yeah.
they're openly talking about going AI first, changing how their teams work.
So it's not just talk, it's happening.
Exactly. And look, if you've felt that knot in your stomach, that what do I do now feeling,
What skills matter? Will my job even be here?
you're definitely not alone. He acknowledges that widespread uncertainty.
But there's a but, right? He doesn't just leave it there.
No, exactly. This is where he pivots, and it's really important. While that disruption is real, he argues this is also one of the most incredible times to be alive.
Okay, that's quite a shift. Why incredible?
Because alongside the disruption, there's just massive opportunity, huge potential. The trick, he says, is finding it and knowing how to grab it,
Right. So less fear, more action.
pretty much. Which leads straight into his main idea, becoming AI first.
Okay. What does that actually mean, according to him?
Well, he sees people using AI in sort of three ways right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's group one. Maybe you've tried ChatGPT once, thought, meh, moved on.
Yeah, know a few people like that.
Group two. You use tools for simple stuff, quick searches, summarizing an article, that kind of thing.
Okay, probably where a lot of people are.
There's group three. These are the people using it everywhere. They've, as he puts it, seen the light. They really get it.
Interesting spectrum. So what's the difference? Why are some people seeing the light and others aren't?
Well, this is key. He says there's a big misunderstanding. People often blame the AI if the output isn't great.
Right, ChatGPT is dumb or whatever.
Exactly. But Dan argues the quality isn't just about the AI. It's fundamentally down to your skill, your imagination, how well you can guide it.
Okay. So the human element is critical. It's not just the tech.
Totally. He uses this great example, trying to write landing page copy.
Okay.
If you just type in, write persuasive landing page copy,
You get something super generic, probably useless.
right, land. But to get great copy, you have to bring something else, your own knowledge. Maybe you've studied copywriting, read the classics.
So you guide the AI using those principles. You feed it context.
Exactly. Context
Well-
about the offer, the audience, the right tone of voice. You're the one putting those little pieces together, as he says.
That makes sense. The AI is a tool, but you're the craftsperson using it.
Precisely. And his point is, even if these tools aren't perfect right now,
They're getting better fast.
super fast. So getting good at using them now, learning how to guide them effectively, it means when they do get even better, you'll be way ahead. You'll run laps around everyone else who waited.
So it's about building the skill with the tool, anticipating its improvement.
You got it. Now here's where it gets really interesting and really practical.
Okay, all right.
His main advice for actually learning this stuff, it sounds kind of nuts at first,
Go on.
he says. Practice by trying to automate yourself out of your own job.
Automate
Yeah.
yourself out of work. That does sound counterintuitive.
Right. But there's a method. He lays out steps.
Mm-hmm.
First, you take a task you do.
Mm-hmm.
Write down in detail how you do it, like you're teaching someone, every single step.
Okay, document the process.
Then, step 2, assume any part of that could potentially be done with an AI prompt. Just assume it's possible.
Okay, mindset shift.
Step 3, pick a piece of that task, one step maybe, and try to turn it into a prompt. Actually write the prompt.
And then test it, presumably.
Step 4, test it. See where it fails, because it probably will at first. Note the failures. Then refine that prompt. Keep tweaking it until it gets you like 90% of the way there for that specific step.
90%, that's a high bar.
Yeah, aim high. Then, step 5, save that prompt. Boom. You've built a little automation tool for yourself.
And you repeat that for other parts of the task or other tasks.
Exactly. Build up a library of prompts that handle bits of your workflow.
What if you don't actually know how to do the task well in the first place? Can you still automate it?
Good question. He addresses that. He says, yeah, start by asking the AI for detailed instructions on how to do the task.
Use AI to learn the process first.
Right. Get the AI to teach you the steps, then try to automate those steps with prompts.
Okay, that makes sense. It's a learning process layered on an automation process.
Yeah. And he stresses this point about specificity. It's crucial.
How so?
Try and automate something really general, like his example, create a YouTube video with one prompt. It won't work well.
Too broad. Too many variables.
Exactly. Too relative, he calls it. But if you get specific, say you ask the AI to analyze the structure of a really successful video, maybe give it a transcript.
Like, analyze Ali Abdaal's video structure based on this transcript. He mentions specific creators.
Yeah, he uses Ali Abdaal and Alex Hormozy as examples, asking for that kind of specific structural analysis. That gives you super usable, detailed instructions, stuff you can build prompts from.
Got it. Specificity unlocks usable output. General requests get general, less useful advice.
That's the idea. The quality in depends on the quality and specificity out, plus your guidance.
And he offered another way to get those specific instructions right, something about books.
Oh yeah, this is clever.
Yeah.
He suggests uploading relevant books or PDFs, say classic copywriting books like Breakthrough Advertising or Great Leads.
Okay, upload them to the AI.
Yeah, into something like Claude or Gemini that can handle large documents. Then ask the AI to summarize the key methods or extract detailed step-by-step processes from those expert sources.
So you're basically getting the AI to distill expert knowledge for you.
Exactly. And those distilled methods, those become the foundation, the expert knowledge. You then feed it to your prompts to get high-quality results.
That's really powerful. Using AI to access and structure expertise you don't personally have yet.
Totally. And this whole process leads into what he calls building powerful prompts, or even meta prompts.
The meta prompts, prompts that create other prompts.
Kind of. It's about creating prompts that guide you on what information is needed to generate a great final output. He uses that landing page example again.
Okay, how does that work?
So first, you use AI to research and understand a detailed guide, like the principles from Breakthrough Advertising. We just talked about that.
Right, extract the expert framework.
Then, and this is the meta part, you ask the AI. Okay, based on these principles you just extracted, what specific information would you need from me to actually write landing page copy following this method?
So you're asking the AI to tell you what it needs to generate the input requirements list.
Exactly. It spits out a list. Product name, description, the problem it solves, key benefit, unique selling proposition, target audience details, etc., all based on that expert framework.
Clever. So the AI defines its own data needs based on the expert method.
Yep. Then you take that list of required info, combine it with the detailed principles you extracted earlier, and put it all together into one big meta prompt.
Like a template.
Sort of. Often structured in phases. Phase 1, here's the context I need you to ask me for. Product name, audience, etc. Phase 2. Once you have that context, use these specific principles from the copywriting book to write the copy.
Wow. So you run this meta prompt, it asks you for the specific inputs,
You provide them.
and then it generates the output using the expert method and your context.
Bingo. You've essentially built, as Dan calls it, a reusable little employee prompt.
That consistently produces high-quality first drafts, like 90% done.
Exactly. Even if you're not a copywriting expert yourself, it saves enormous time and lets you leverage top-tier methods.
That shifts the starting point completely, from a blank page to nearly finished. That's huge.
It really is. So that covers the practical how-to of getting AI first.
Yeah.
But he also zooms out, looks at the bigger picture. the history of work.
Okay, the philosophical side.
Yeah. He points out, centuries ago, most people were self-employed. Artisans, farmers, like 80%.
Right, more autonomy.
Then the industrial age hit. Factories, offices, repetitive tasks. Now what, maybe 10% are self-employed? Big shift.
So his question is, where does AI take us next?
Exactly. Could it push us even further from that autonomy? He throws out this idea of moving from autopilot living, where your task is just given to you.
To autocomplete living, where the AI just does the work for you?
Potentially, for many. Which, sounds efficient, but maybe a bit hollow.
Yeah, less agency, less creativity, maybe.
But he offers another path for people who do value that creativity, that agency.
That's the alternative.
Adapting, developing higher-level skills, focusing on forms of knowledge, moving up a level, basically, abstracting away from just doing the tasks, shifting focus from labor to mind.
Okay, so becoming more strategic, more creative, letting AI handle the lower-level execution.
Kind of. And it brings us back to that core question he poses directly to you, the listener.
Which is?
When should I leverage AI and when should I do it myself? It forces a conscious choice. Understanding your own thinking, your own value, versus the AI's capabilities.
That's a deep question to wrestle with. It's not just about efficiency, it's about purpose.
Totally. And this whole AI native idea, it's not just for individuals. He talks about it at the company level, too.
Right. Not just adding features, but changing how companies operate.
Yeah. He uses examples from a company, Signal, I think it was called, showing how different departments could become AI native.
Okay, like what?
Well, product development. Instead of just manually sifting through feedback, use AI to summarize hundreds of user interviews instantly.
Find patterns, cluster pain points automatically.
Exactly. Or generate draft roadmap options based on that feedback. Even simulate user behavior before you build anything. He gives prompt ideas like, summarize these 50 interviews and cluster key pain points.
Saves massive amounts of time for product teams. What else?
Social media. Using AI to instantly digest thousands of comments. Get real-time sentiment analysis. Understand what people are talking about, what they need.
Okay.
Marketing. Huge potential there. Generating tons of content variations for A/B testing, tuning messages not just to demographics, but to detailed psychographics.
Like different personality types or values?
Yeah, like generate 10 headlines tuned to these 5 founder archetypes, building live feedback loops, much more dynamic and targeted.
And customer support. That seems like a prime area.
Definitely. Using LLMs to auto-solve maybe most Tier 1 issues right away.
Freeing up humans for complex problems.
Right. And summarizing long, complex support threads so an agent can instantly get up to speed. Even dynamically generating help-centered articles based on the questions people are actually asking.
He mentioned seeing this firsthand.
Yeah, from his own software startup, Cortex. How valuable it was to turn support interactions automatically into useful documentation. Saves so much manual effort.
These examples really paint a picture of, well, a very different way of working across a business.
For sure. Whether you work in those areas or you're thinking of building something yourself, it shows the scope of the change.
So looking at the broader job market then, what's his assessment, his outlook?
It's pretty blunt. Again, he basically suggests you've got maybe a few years
A few years for what?
to adapt. Before your current role might change significantly, or you find yourself needing to constantly learn new skills just to keep up, or you might just have to fend for yourself, create your own path.
Okay, so the pressure is on to adapt. What's the positive path forward he sees emerging from this?
He argues we're moving towards a mastery and meaning economy.
Mastery and meaning. Tell me more.
It means the focus shifts. Away from just doing tasks, towards finding and pursuing your life's work, something you genuinely deeply care about, and then mastering it, ruthlessly.
Finding that thing you're passionate about and becoming exceptionally good at it.
Exactly. But, and this is crucial, that mastery has to be paired with an AI-first mindset.
Ah, so you use AI in service of your mastery to accelerate it, enhance it.
You got it. And then comes a piece of advice that might make some people uncomfortable.
Oh.
He says you need to shamelessly share what you know, what you do, and why you do it publicly.
Put your work out there. Why is that so important?
Because, he argues, in this new landscape, your visible body of work, the proof of your mastery and your unique perspective, becomes your only real safety net.
The only real safety net. That's a strong statement.
It is. His reasoning ties into attention.
Okay.
He says attention is the only differentiator. Think about it. AI can generate endless content. The internet is getting flooded with generic stuff. Calls it the growing dead internet.
Right. Lots of noise, lots of cookie cutter material.
So real, authentic human attention. That becomes incredibly scarce, incredibly valuable.
And AI, while it can generate content, struggles with the nuances.
Exactly. It struggles with iteration based on real feedback, pivoting creatively, true uniqueness, making something genuinely compelling without very specific human guidance and deep knowledge behind it. The market sophistication, as he puts it, is rising fast.
Yep.
People will demand more than generic.
Okay, so attention flows to authenticity and mastery. How does that connect back to using AI?
His strategy is use AI for the grunt work, especially if you're building your own thing like a one-person business or brand. Automate the stuff you don't want to do.
Marketing tasks, sales outreach, basic customer support.
Yeah, the operational stuff. Let AI handle the overhead. But, and this is critical, you don't hand over your core craft, the thing you're mastering, the thing you actually care about.
So if writing is your craft, you don't let AI do the writing.
Right. Use it for research, maybe editing, idea generation. But the core act of creation, the voice, the perspective, that's yours.
Why is that distinction so important? Is it just about quality?
Not just quality. He argues it's about meaning. Fulfillment often comes from the struggle, the process of creation itself. And authenticity comes from your unique viewpoint, your hard-won mastery. Using AI for the necessary but not core stuff, that's like authenticity at scale. It's like hiring help. It frees you up.
Frees you to focus your limited human energy on your mission, your craft, the things only you can bring.
Precisely. It circles right back to his point. You are the niche. You are the differentiator.
People connect with people, not generic AI.
Exactly. People buy from people, from brands they know, trust, feel a connection with. It's less about complex funnels for generic stuff and more about, as he says, building a world that people can explore. A world built around you and your unique value.
Which leads perfectly into that 1,000 true fans idea, doesn't it?
It really does. He argues the concept is more relevant than ever now. Forget millions of followers. Most people don't want or need massive fame.
They just want to make a decent living doing something meaningful.
Right. And his numbers are pretty encouraging. You don't need a huge audience. Even fewer than 1,000 true fans, people who really get and value what you do, can be enough.
How does the math work?
Well, it depends on your model. Charging higher prices for specialized services, maybe $5,000 a client. Or a paid newsletter at $10 a month. Or selling digital products for $5,150.
So fewer customers, higher value?
Exactly. He gives income examples. Making $5,000 a month, definitely doable. Need more, maybe 10, 15K a month for family reasons. That could just be, say, 3 high-ticket clients a month.
3 clients. That sounds achievable compared to needing thousands of small sales.
Or think recurring revenue. $5,000 a month. That's 500 people paying you $10 a month for a subscription.
500 people on an internet of billions. That puts it in perspective.
Yeah. He talks about building an offer stack, maybe a high-ticket service, a mid-tier subscription, and some lower-priced products. Diversifying income from that core audience, finding 500 or 1,000 people who resonate with your specific mastery and perspective. He argues that's entirely possible.
And this path, it's very different from a traditional job, isn't it?
Fundamentally, it's work that constantly evolves, he says. It demands you keep learning. And maybe requires you to have at least some of your life together to handle the autonomy and responsibility.
It's not passive. It requires active engagement and growth.
Definitely.
So wrapping this all up, the main takeaway from Dan Koh's perspective seems to be, yes, AI is a massive shift. Transformative, maybe even disruptive.
Right. The unpleasant truth isn't going away.
But it's not just a threat. It's simultaneously opening these huge doors for individual mastery, for finding real meaning in your work, and for building direct connections with an audience that truly values your unique contribution.
It really reframes it, doesn't it? From maybe feeling like a victim of automation to seeing a path to becoming the architect of your own work, using these tools strategically.
Exactly. It puts the power, the agency back in your hands. If you're willing to learn, adapt, and, well, share your work.
Which leaves us with that final, really potent thought from Dan. Something for you to maybe chew on.
What's that?
Staying the same is the enemy of a good life.
Wow. That's quite a challenge and quite an invitation.
It really is. So we hope this deep dive gives you some food for thought. Maybe think about how you could start practicing that AI-first mindset, even in small ways.
Or start exploring what that mastery and meaning path might look like for you in this changing world.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for tuning in and joining us for this exploration.